training with Loke, and he made us run the ropes for, I think it was an hour straight. And I'm a big guy. I don't run anywhere for an hour straight. And needless to say, I was peeing a different color for about 4 days.
Yeah.
The old kiddies didn't fit too well after that.
Yeah, it's kind of where the 2 minutes of hell thing came from. Whenever I would train, not necessarily train, but kind of give like the open house or whatever, to the newcomers or whatever. Show them, a bump or two and run or whatever, I'd make them run for 2 minutes straight, to see if they came back. I figured, if they came back from that, then cool. If not, then they weren't meant for it. And that was primarily because of what Loke did with us.
Absolutely, man. And, growing up watching TV, you're thinking it's a trampoline with, a bouncy rope, like a rubber band. You get in there, and it's a whole different ballgame. I was hurting for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I still am. I still am 2.5 years out. Haven't taken a bump in 2.5 years, and still, being a small guy myself, it's never easy. But in any event, now you've actually been out of the business for quite a while. I mean, you've made sporadic appearances here and there. Most recently, if I'm not mistaken, it was with Pier 6 Wrestling, was it?
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I was reached out to by Scotty Bender and Adam that run Pier 6, and they had a good idea for me. Super Beast, the younger guy, wanted to pair me up with him. He's a big guy. I've always respected him. I mean, I remember when, it was NWA Upstate and then RCW, rivals. I still come in. I'm a fan of the business first and foremost.
Uh-huh.
So I watch everything. And I saw Super Beast. He's a big guy. I saw a lot of myself in him. And I could see he was hungry. And he was a big guy that didn't do just big guy moves.
No.
I respect that.
No, he definitely was not.
Yeah, I respect that tremendously. Because, that's one thing I pride myself on, is being a big guy. I played hockey my whole life, and I played football a couple of years, but I pride myself on being a big guy that can actually move.
Right.
And when I saw Super Beast, I was like, I would definitely like to partner with him. And I'll be honest with you, there's a couple of guys right now in the Indies that I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with them. One that comes to my mind first and foremost is Dick Justice. I love that kid. That kid is absolutely hilarious. He's a big guy, but he can work. I don't know if you've seen some of his videos, but he's doing some lucha moves in some matches.
I have.
And it's unbelievable.
Well, the last I knew of Dick Justice, before I sort of reintroduced to him, he was going under the name of Superbad. And he was all right, but I don't know, sometime between the point where I completely tuned myself out of at that time NWA Upstate and now when I became older and, well, not necessarily wiser, but older and kind of more grounded and open-minded, he's really stepped his game up, that kid has.
Yeah, he's got quite the following, man. He's kind of like a cult hero to a lot of independent wrestling fans. I know he's doing well in 2CW and federations all over the place. I know him and Brute Van Slyke, who's another dude I'm seriously impressed with. That mostly does 2CW, but I know they just went down to WXW this weekend. And I tell you what, man, the future's bright in New York wrestling, indie wrestling. There's a lot of dudes that can work, and like I said, being a fan first and foremost. I'm very excited about the future of the business around here.
You know what? I am too, and contrary to some of the posts that I might have had regarding some of the other ones, at this point now, with some of the shindies that are local to this area, I'm pretty much taking the stance of that they don't matter. You know what I mean? I think that's just a lot easier. Giving them the free pub and everything. Sometimes it's fun to just say, XYZ place sucks, but thankfully you're not going to any one of those XYZ places. You're making your return to ESW this coming Saturday in Olean.
Olean.
Olean. Oh, I'm sorry.
St. Bonaventure's area. Yep.
So now let's get into that. How did that come about for you? Because prior to that, I mean, I knew a while ago when you made the announcement, which I believe might have been early in the summer. You made the announcement, and then it kind of you didn't hear anything on it, and then just all of a sudden it blew up with the ad and everything. So how did this come about?
Well, it's a funny story, man. I haven't wrestled in a match since 2008, July 2008. I blew out my foot in NWA Empire at the time in Buffalo. It was me, Jimmy Olsen, Mastiff, and Pepper Parks in a tag team match. And a fan's water bottle went underneath the guardrail. At the exact time I went to plant my foot, while I'm holding Jimmy Olsen in my arms, and Mastiff is jumping outside of the ring to land on us, and all three of our body weight crushed out of my foot and exploded it.
Jesus.
So, yeah, 10 pins, 6 screws later, doctor's like, listen, and this is, keep in mind, this is a year after I was in the hospital after I got jumped, downtown Rochester, when I got beat up pretty bad, and honestly, I almost died. So the doctor's like, listen, you've had a major facial injury, now your foot is shot. They almost had to amputate my foot after the surgery, to be honest with you. She said 2 more centimeters lower, the bones, it would have been sticking out of my foot, and they would have had to cut my foot off.
Jesus.
So that made me open my eyes up. I said, listen, I'm 28, going to be 29, I'm getting a little too old for these serious injuries, I can't be doing it anymore. So I took some time off, gained about 100 pounds, because when you break your foot, you can't do anything. You can't go anywhere.
Absolutely.
And Mama Cat Lemmer, who's been a mainstay in the wrestling scene in Western New York.
Oh, yes, she has. Yes, she has.
She had me move in for, it was like a 3-month period, because like I said, I couldn't walk, I couldn't drive for a good 6 months. So for 3 months, I'm living with her, and Mama Cat thinks Big Cat's still a little boy, so she's cooking me meals all the time, stopping to get in shalers.
Hey, man, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong except when you can't walk it off.
Oh, okay.
I literally gained about 100 pounds, man. It was horrible, and I fast forward a couple of years, still a big guy, but trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. I ended up meeting my wife. We have our son is, Trey, is going to be 4 in December. And
yeah.
My daughter, Gia, she's 14 months. And,
beautiful kids, by the way. Beautiful kids, by the way.
Thank you. Well, same to you, man. We got to get them together, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody that follows me on Facebook and all that they'll know that my kids are my life, and my son Trey is a huge wrestling fan.
I saw the picture. I saw the picture you put up with him. Not to interrupt you here, but I saw the picture you put up with him a few months ago with him, and I believe it was the Luke Harper doll.
Yeah. Actually, we had a chance to hang out with Luke a little bit, as some of the Rochester locals have, because we're all a family.
Yeah.
And he sees him, and it's the whole man. You want to see eyes big as a house? That'll happen when he sees a WWE superstar like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, it's as a father, you want your kids to see you wrestle, see you do something you're passionate about and love, and it's always been in the back of my mind that I'm like, man, this kid is really a fan, and I take him to a Pier 6 wrestling show. God, I can't even remember. I think it was like February or something like that, and then the kid was absolutely just screaming, top of his lungs in the front row. So then we took him to a WWE house show, and then we took him to another WWE house show. I'm like, he loves it. It brought me right back to when I was a kid. My parents took me to shows, so I was like, that's it. I got to do it.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I ended up, not to go on for hours here, but I bounced at a local establishment here on Thursday nights, and a couple of the local guys come in every once in a while, and piqued my interest and told me that ESW is running a show in Olean, and that's all I needed to hear. That's where my wife's from. My grandmother's from there. I got cousins and aunts and uncles, and my wife's whole family's there. So all these people that are so important to me that have never seen me wrestle are going to have the chance to see me wrestle now. So it was like the perfect storm, man. I had to do it, and I'm getting in shape and taking it serious.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I just want to actually interrupt here. I just got a breaking news alert here. You may have already heard by now, but the Kansas City Royals swept the Baltimore Orioles and will be headed to the World Series. That's right. The Kansas City Royals are going to the World Series. I picked them.
As a Cleveland Indians fan, I'm pretty happy about that, because that means that the Indians going to make it and play something in the division win, so I can say we would have won.
Yeah, you know what? I got to say, I'm a Yankees fan, and we all know this, but I love the feel-good stories like that in sports. And the Kansas City Royals, the last time they were in the postseason was 1988. And now they're just, it's crazy. It's awesome. But it got off topic here. But in any event, wow, that's pretty.
Oh, that's great, man. I love the new aspect of the show. I listened to this. I'm a big fan of the podcast, by the way. And I tell you what, I marked out huge when I heard you have a sponsor by the name of FanDuel.
Oh, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. We do have an affiliation with FanDuel. Yes.
Yeah, I marked out big time. I'm a huge fan of FanDuel.
Oh well, hey, go through Gear Network. Help us out. But
I'm definitely gonna have to do it because once I heard that, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna create a whole nother mess here.
Oh yeah. Trying to build slow. It's a slow build here, but it's something that kind of similar to the wrestling aspect. When I got into wrestling, there's a lot of naysayers. You're too small. You're good enough to be a referee, and I wanted to prove them wrong, and I felt that I did. And now getting into the podcasting world, it's such an oversaturated market. But there, if you can make your way and you can do it, you can really, enjoy. And I'm enjoying myself with this. So I appreciate that you're a fan, though.
No, absolutely, man. I've always been a fan of talk radio. I remember being, in like 6th, 7th grade and sneaking in my Walkman to listen to Weeze and Howard Stern and stuff like that. And the podcast craze is just awesome. I just recently got into that. And you're actually the first one I downloaded when I saw you made a podcast. And then I went on to Jericho. And I'm a big fantasy football guy, so I got about 4 of those downloaded too. So,
oh, yeah.
I keep up to date with all of them, though. It keeps me going through work every day.
Fantastic. Speaking of sports and all that stuff, you're a Bengals guy. What do you think of the what do you think of the Bengals this year?
You know what, man? I love the Bengals. The first 3 games got everybody fired up, and in the last 2 weeks they're just finding ways to really look bad again. That Patriots game, listen, Tom Brady wasn't going to lose to anybody that night. He was, challenged all week. He was going to blow out whoever he played.
Pretty much.
This past week against Carolina was a joke. Mike Nugent kicking. It was like a chip shot to win the game in overtime and nothing. And you as a Jets fan, I'm sure you know all too well about Mike Nugent.
Very, very much aware.
Yeah.
but
no, I you know what it is, man. These injuries. AJ Green's got to come back. Mohamed Sanu has really stepped up big time.
Yes, he has.
And I watched him out of Rutgers, and he's really coming into his own. It's unfortunate Marvin Jones, so they ended up putting him on IR because he had a great breakout year last year, and this year he's going to be done. Not even getting on the field.
Are you a believer in Andy Dalton?
You know what? I'll be the first to admit I'm very hard on Andy Dalton. I hate Andy Dalton. Sunday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, I don't care what it is. If the national TV's on him, he's not going to win the game.
Right.
1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, Andy Dalton's awesome. If you're a fantasy football player, play him on Sundays at 1 o'clock. Do not play him on Sunday nights, Monday nights, or Thursday nights.
Okay, Andy.
It's not going to happen.
Andy Dalton or Geno Smith?
He's coming into his own, though. I mean, I forget that he's, in his 4th year?
I'd say, his 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's coming into his own. I'm going to give him a little more time. Do I think he's the one that's going to win a Super Bowl? No. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be honest with you, the biggest problem I have is Marvin Lewis continuously getting re-signed every year when he just is the king of mediocrity.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't do anything to advance.
I agree there. Now let me ask you this. Andy Dalton or Geno Smith?
Oh, Andy Dalton any day.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. And finally, as far as Dalton is concerned, does he not look like Andrew Mullen?
Yes, he does. Shout out to Andrew Mullen.
There you go.
My favorite refs in Western New York.
Oh, we love you, Mullen, but my God, you are a slimmer, yet somewhat paler Andy Dalton. So,
Andrew Mullen has better facial hair, though.
He does. Yeah. But
Andy's a hockey fan, so he gets points for that.
Very good. All right, so Big Cat, we're gonna wind this up here. Give us the specifics about ESW this week.
Yeah, I mean, doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. In Olean, New York, at Good Times in Olean. It's a wrestling star town. They had a show there a couple months ago and drew, I think, over 450, almost 500 for a show with like Rhino, and I think Ivan Koloff was on the show or something like that. And this time, we're bringing in a lot of who's who of Western New York indie wrestling. There's some matches there. I'll be honest with you, that I'm very much looking forward to. Number one off the top of my head, Brute Van Slyke versus Bill Collier. I don't know if you've seen either one of these guys. You want to see a hard-hitting beat your